Hello, teacher. My name is Tumi, and today I would like to do my homework being with speed with fast speed, and I choose with the levels with the level sign letter is 30 and speed 11, and now let's go. Lesson 3, Triangle of Reality, the reading one. The triangle of reality is an extremely precious knowledge. Through this knowledge, we can materialize the non-material, information, energize, and materialize anything. Even abstract concepts invisible to the human eyes can become tangible, allowing people to be perceived and touch them. At the same time, the triangle of reality helps us know how to receive and transfer reality simply. A person who knows the triangle of reality no longer goes to school. They go to receive reality. If they have a material, they reinforce information and energy. If they have energy, they reinforce information and material. So that is the application method of the triangle of reality. Let's find out. Introduction, the triangle of reality. Anyone among us, no matter where we live in this world, is influenced by three perspectives or views: the moral perspective, the religious belief perspective, and the scientific perspective. Whichever perspective a person learn to work more heavily, their mindset will focus from according to that view. However, regardless of person of the person perspective perspective, they all greatly respect the formula of energy, information, material. These are two of the many laws governing human life, the law of causal and conditions, and the law of causal and effect. If we sow a course, we meet favorable condition, we will reap the desired outcome. So what is the course here? And how do we show a good course? In this section, we will explore the determining course of human life according to the formula possession perspective thought. Through the knowledge of the triangle of reality, this helps us answer the question according to the moral perspective. What creates the root of our life? In universe structure, information, energy, and material. Everything in this world has its own perspective, information, perspective, energy, and perspective manifestation. What information is contained within someone determines that source of energy. We draw the triangle with the three corner, information, energy, and material. Any entity in this world contains its own source of energy, has its own internal information structure, and has its own material manifestation. For example, go and let's have different material manifestation. We took at them and senses the different when people measure their energy. The energy contains in gold is different from the energy contained in lead and list. Studying further, people found that the internal information structure of gold is also different from the internal information structure of lead. Similarly, for human, the material manifestation of successful person is completely different from the material manifestation of failed person. This proves that the energy contained within a successful person is completely different from the energy of a failed person. That is because they contain different information inside. Therefore, what information a person contains inside will determine that source of energy and will determine that material manifestation. We can imagine it this way. Content information represent energy and energy represent material. Everything in this world has its own perspective, information, perspective, energy, and perspective, material manifestation. That what does it mean when we see a person manifesting something outwardly? When we see a person manifesting something outwardly, it's proof they contain a certain source of energy and a certain information inside for them and manifesting in this way. For example, when I observe an energy person, we see that they facial expression and internal behavior are very different from those of faithful person, and analyzing deeper the energy person's energy manifestation is different from passenger person's energy manifestation, which prove the internal information they could contain different. Can material be transformed into one another? If we consider the external manifestation of material to be the outcome, it's the internal information, of course, and it's the source of energy, the condition. The internal cause manifestation is information. The external energy is the condition, and the enough energy begin to accumulate and condense. It creates the material, which is the outcome. But usually we just want to change the outcome. Scientists has proved that all material can be transformed into one another. They have a successful transform leads to into gold, but it took many years and high cost. What by changing the internal information structure when the engine changes, the internal material changes. People have transformed cow dung into food, condenses air into meat and create artificial diamond that are potentially harder than natural diamonds. We have achieved this with material. We can adopt the same mindset regarding changing people. Example, a health person and a sick person. Do we agree that health and sickness are both manifestation of the outcome? If we proceed to change the internal information of the sick person to the information of the healthy person, then the sick person energy will change to the healthy person's energy, and the material manifestation will become that of a healthy person. If we can change the deep seated information within ourselves, we can change our life, what information is contained within us. If we observe a computer, the information contained inside is the operating system and the software system. The core lies in the opening system. Without it, application cannot be installed. So what is the information contained within us? Sages have pointed out to us what we know, what we believe, and what we understand is the information contained within us. It is simple. When anything is mentioned, how we know about it, how we believe in it, and how we understand it will represent the information within us. The information within us is what we know, what we believe, and what we understand. In other words, what we know, what we believe, and what we understand will determine our life reality. Thus, this does this statement so reasonable? For instance, regarding marriage, what we believe, understand, and know determine the reality of our marriage. We will examine our mm, mm, marriage reality from moral perspective. It is simply understood as what we know about marriage, what we believe about marriage, what we and how we understand marriage determine our marriage reality. Using the triangle of reality to interpret a person's reality. When we see someone has a reality about something, we immediately know how they know about it, how they believe in it, how they understand it. We do not need to study for fortune telling. We just need to concept the triangle of reality just by interacting and taking. If they let us know how they know marriage in the current way, how they believe in marriage in current way, and how they understand marriage in a current way, we can predict their marriage reality. So if someone currently has an undesirable reality, it is because we know, believe, and understand in an unfavorable direction. What is the source concept? Based on the triangle of reality, we can interpret everything in life, what we know, what we believe, and what we understand. In the language of the triangle of reality, it's called the source concept. What source concept we hold in our mind will determine our reality and shape it in that direction. This means that when something is mentioned, the source concept we hold about it will represent our reality concerning that thing. A concept must include all three concepts: know, believe, understand, to be called the source concept. Source concept about peace and joy. Example, what is the person's source concept about peace and joy? In other words, how they know about peace and joy, how they believe in peace and joy, and how they understand peace and joy determines their reality of peace and joy. Anyone who contain many favorable source concept within them will have a good reality. Based on a person's reality, we can trace back as follows. A person who currently has an undesirable reality means they are holding unfavorable source concept. A person who has a good reality, a reality in the desirable direction, means they are holding favorable source concepts. Source concept about finance. So how do we change our reality about something? It's very simple. Whoever want to change their financial reality, we change what we know about finance, what we believe about finance, and what we understand about finance. In other words, we change the source concept about finance, and we change the reality of finance. Whoever want to change their health reality from this perspective, we only need to change what we know about health, what we believe about health, and what we understand about health. And the health reality will change. In other words, we change our source concept about health and we change our health reality. In general, all of our realities are determined by our source concept. To change reality in a positive direction, we need to change the source concept toward a favorable direction. Concept to master. Therefore, the first three concepts we need to master completely are scientific perspective with the knowledge of the formula for the root of life, religious belief perspective with the knowledge of structure of human being, moral perspective with the knowledge of the triangle of reality. Frame of reference, the source concept of those more traditional, basic, and primal source concept is called the frame of reference. When the source concept of the source is in favorable direction, it is called the standard frame of reference. From that standard frame of reference, we will be able to develop favorable source concept. From there, we will change the information within us toward a more positive or more enlightenment direction. The core within us, according to the moral perspective, it is the source concept within us. At the good cause within, according to the moral perspective, is the favorable source concept within us. Three standard frames of reference. The three frames of reference we have just explored are three major main frames of reference that help us integrate the cause of all matter. First, according to the formula of the root of life, does any felt that based on this formula, we can integrate everything in life. Second, if we cannot integrate it's using the formula for the root of life, we use the structure of human being to explain everything. This explains even why we choose our parent. According to the structure of human being is based on our total karma that we are born into that family. Therefore, anyone who start to complain or blame their parent or relative lack the perspective of religion, belief, and the structure of human being. Because we have that total karma, we must be born into that family, and being born into that family means you must suffer oppression or sorrow from your parents or relatives. Only then does it align with your total karma. If your merit and virtue were good, you would have been born in a different family. But because your total karma that way, you are compelled to be born in that family. As soon as we understand this, we realize the truth immediately. That is the type of enlightenment about human life. Immediately, we no longer blame family members because we have to bear our total karma as is it. But after gaining insight, we change our state of awareness to change our total karma. But according to the perspective of the triangle of reality, what we know, what we believe, and what we understand represent our reality. There is nothing more wondrous than changing what we know, what we believe, and what we understand to change the reality of our life. How to apply the three frames of reference to life what must be done to change a person's reality, to change a person's reality. We change the source concept, change the electromagnetism within a person by accumulating merit and virtue, and change the mental image and then the life will be changed. So if someone asks us for advice to changing their life, what advice do you give? First, we must help them understand what creates the root of their life. What creates the root of a person's life? The first priority for interpretation is, according to the scientific perspective, it is created by the very mental image you thought about that thing. That seed, the seed of the image within your mind determine your current life. The second thing is that your energetic vibration frequency determine the mental level you currently perceive about life. The third thing is the concept you hold in your mind that determine your life reality. To change mental image, we must accumulate merit and virtue to change the energetic vibration frequency simultaneously. We must study to change the source concept in our mind, and then life will change. receiving and transferring reality with the triangle reality. When we interact with someone who has a good reality about something we desire, if that person gives us their source concept about that thing, meaning they let us know, how they believe and how they understand it, then we will acquire the same reality as them. And what if we want to transfer a reality to others? We only need to let others know how we know about it, how we believe in it, and how we understand it for them. In other words, we transfer the source concept to them, and they will have the same reality as us. That's all. Thank you.